So I'm done with Tier 4. I mean, I've unlocked everything in Tier 4. I'm still only using Mark II belts and Mark I miners, though. Probably the biggest change since last time is this new building here. It's making screws and modular frames. I put it on this long rocky cliff where there's a lot of nodes. It's next door to the coal plant over there. It's a pretty good spot. It's got a nice view of the main campus area down there. That's where the next one's going to go for sure. Hopefully making all the parts we need for the next tier. So that's mostly it. It's mostly this new building. If you want to see it in more detail, if you want to see how I ended up on this design and handled logistics and stuff, and there's some other stuff I did too. If you want to see all that, just stick around. Okay, I'm starting a new factory, and I'm going to record myself as I make it, but I want to put it on a platform, and I'm kind of preoccupied with getting the edge of the platform how I want it. I had this side kind of mimicking this tree planter area, but I kind of hate it. I think I want to curve it in towards the edge of the cliff and then run it along the cliff. I think it should have a pretty smooth curve that it slowly ends up matching the angle of the cliff edge there. Just gotta figure out the right... I don't know how you guys do curves. Can't keep up with all the new ways people do this. I'm sure there's a lot faster, smarter ways than the way I do it, but I'm just a simple guy. I found something that works. Okay, this is better. I don't think it's exactly right. This is pretty good. This part's fine. And this truck entrance might have to go. This is a fun idea, but I'm pretty sure that when I figure out what I want the building to be, this isn't going to make any sense. I laid out most of what I'm going to be putting inside just to make sure I got plenty of room, and it's going to be a long and skinny, and I should have almost double the square footage I need, I think. I don't know what shape I want it to be yet, but I know I want to be able to walk all the way around it, so I kind of sketched out roughly the area that I feel like I want to work in, and it's kind of a long, skinny bit and bulgy bit that goes back deeper. So right away I'm wondering whether maybe there's a long, thin foundry and then it intersects with a taller, stubbier main factory part at the back. I'm not sure. I'm just playing right now. I like my factory complexes. I like to have a really clear boundary between the factory parts of the map and the nature parts. And I often use these platform foundations to go under the entire building and kind of make sidewalks and plazas and things. One nice feature of that is I can make them thick, which gives me the option of running belts underneath if I like. I think that's what I'm going to do here, because I've got all these miners that are right where I want to put the platform. So I'm going to make the platform tall enough that the miners can send their ore into the building under the ground, or under the platform, I mean. This cliff I'm building on has a natural bend to it, so I'm going to try to bend the building with it. It's more of a curve. I'm not going to use this harsh angle that I'm doing now. I just wanted to get a placeholder in there so I can kind of get a feel for what it might look like. I mean, that's all I'm doing right now is trying to just get a sketch down, put some shapes down to see what I think, what I might want to do. This end here, I was thinking it might be a good entrance, but I have a better idea, I think. I like it when all the buildings, or at least all the buildings that are in the same area, I like them to all have a similar style, look like they're part of a family, they go together. But I also like to leave a bit of room for each one to have its own personality. I've been using these rounded corners, and that seems like it's one way to tie them together. So I'll use it here too. Yeah, screw this. I think that entrance is going to be behind it. I was thinking this long, skinny part of the factory could be all foundry, but that's way more room than I need for these smelters, I think. I'm gonna make an outline of where the second shape of the factory might go, just to see how I think they interact. I was thinking it could be a taller thing, like maybe since I know the front part's going to be curved, maybe this should be all angly. I'm not sure. Let's just see what it looks like. If I imagine. There's definitely something here. This could work, but I can already tell I want to get rid of that stupid truck tunnel entrance thing. I'm just going to ignore it for now. Maybe the next piece should stick out farther than the skinny part. If I cantilever the second part over these miners, I could make it longer. Rectangle shape, is that too weird? Does it compute too much with the... Right now the two parts don't really have much to do with each other. It's not necessarily a problem, but I wonder if I stole the angle from the skinny part and brought it into the big one. That could be useful. If I did that, I'd want to extend it farther to the left. Is that one little piece, little wall there is too weird? Something like this, maybe. Okay, I'm starting to like the idea of having that bend reflected in the second shape. I mean, the cliff is shaped like that too, so it's not like I'm just borrowing a pattern from the skinny part. See what I mean? This way, both shapes would be tracking the terrain too. It's an awkward shape. Let me just play around. Okay, I think I'm sold on the idea that the back piece reflects the shape of the front somehow. Man, that is a lot bigger than I need, but that's okay. It's always good to have room to expand. This top part, the back part looks big, but it's actually gonna have to be pretty short to clear the miners. Huh. Maybe this back piece wouldn't look so awkward if it was borrowing more than the angles from the front piece. What I mean is, maybe they should both be like skinny shapes. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, this has potential, I think. This could work. This is kind of tight. I don't think it can come this far over the miners. Yeah, I think it needs to be pushed back even farther. It's just weird, that corner right over the miners. But that little stubby bit at the end is dumb. I want more on both sides of the curve or the bend. I'm gonna have to rethink this. I'm gonna switch over for a minute to the curve in front. I'm using some curve radiuses that are not normal, or there isn't possible to get this kind of radius to be perfectly smooth through the normal method. So I've got kind of a freestyle nudge approach to these tighter curves. It's more art than science, but you can get it a lot smoother usually than the way it lands. I think I might not only kill this tunnel, I might kill the road too. Just make it be a ramp or something. Well, this is looking good. I mean, the top part's, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's progress. I really like how long and not just skinny front to back, but I like how it's not tall either. It's this little thin wedge facing down the valley. For the back, I don't think I was recording when I tried this, but I was thinking maybe the two shapes are actually really close together. This one comes back because we got the room for it to come back. I don't know. I somehow mismeasured. I dropped an assembler in here and I realized it needs to be taller, but it's so long. If I go 3 windows high, 3 foundations high, that's all I need, and it'll still have that same look that I want, I think. these concrete pieces have like light sides and dark sides, but if you paint the light side just a little bit darker gray, makes it match up better, I think. Makes it all the same dirtiness level. Well, I'm still liking this idea of 2 stacked pieces. I guess I'm not doing that anywhere else, am I? Kind of down there. I'm not crazy about this bottom piece though. It kind of looks like it's supposed to be the same exact shape, just offset, and it's not. Well, I can bring the pieces closer together, or I can push it farther apart, and I thought maybe I'd try giving... There we go. I thought I'd try giving this bottom shape a more swoopier curve. Looks a little like a grand piano. Still, there might be something to it. It would really let me use this space better. Yeah, it's especially weird underneath. And that's too big. That's too big to cantilever for the top part. I would need a support coming down in front of the back piece. Nah, that just seems strange. What if both shapes are like the same shaped rectangle that are just bent to different angles, you know? Like what if I made the top part a little more like the bottom, just not as bent? You know, like a little softer curve? Nah, I think the thing to do, probably what I should have done at the beginning, is just first think about how I want this thing to be supported, and then maybe see what the back should look like. I've got this wall I'm thinking might be part of the back, but it's a tighter angle than the top part, so I'm having to nudge my way to smoothness on a case-by-case basis. I don't have an art. I mean, oops. I flipped the wrong way, but you can see that the edges now are nice and smooth, unlike that one, which I'll take care of. Here, get rid of this. I'll just put one on top of this exactly, and you can see what I mean. I mean, I'll put it the right way this time. It's hard to see. That's smooth enough for me. I can get the other side better too, I think. I was thinking 3 giant pillars all facing exactly the same way. I think I want to make the pillars ignore all the other angles and just point straight forward. You know, the direction that the kind of arrow shape that the building makes is pointing. But to do that, since there's so many different angles, I gotta work directly off the center pillar. Here, this is probably a better way to show you my own sloppy, nudgy way of fixing these little bumps caused by the angles, by the curve. Which is not really a curve, obviously. It's a lot smoother. Good enough for me. This is looking good. There's more smoothing to do, but the way it's really shaping up is, I mean, I think the back part of the factory is going to be taller, lower, and sunken back, but it's going to be the same proportions width-wise. I spent a lot of time flipping foundations around. It's just really hard to see which side's facing out when you're placing them if you're far back. Yeah, so it's going to be like a more massive shape, kind of sliced into, and the bottom piece is going to have its own cantilever, just a little bit smaller one. So those pillars, then bottom piece, and then top piece, each getting wider. Yeah, I like how, in a way, the second piece of the factory, the foundry, what's going to be the foundry now, it's almost invisible. You know, it's tucked behind and underneath the main one. Oh, I should think about miners. Yeah, I'm running the ore under the platform, and I think just with the whole thing lifted up on pillars, I think it's cool to just run them straight up through the air. I like to see them moving. This is inside the foundry bit. It's, like I said, it's pretty sizable. So this is, oh yeah, I did put the entrance on this side. I think it's better. I'm gonna make it beefier, but you get the idea. It's starting to be like a little courtyard back here. So I do the same thing on this side, just like these guys will run underground, under the platform and come up there. For running belts inside these concealed places, I really don't care much about the way it looks at all. I'll clip them. I don't care. Once it's under here, I just kind of, go crazy. Both of these rooms are really big. For me, they're big, but the part in the middle, the bend, is kind of awkward, the foundation. So I think I'm going to not put machines there. Yeah, I think running these straight up through the air next to the pillars looks intentional and fine. It's kind of cool to see them moving, see the things pulling the ore in. Oh, look how cool the glow of the miners looks under there. Is that lumen making it? Oh, I guess it's sunset. I think that looks cool. I've got lights unlocked now, so I'm gonna put lights in. I don't really have. Does somebody have a good way to? What's the fastest way to do this without making big mistakes? I'm trying to line up the power knob. When I put them all edge to edge like this, I like to drop the power way down. look pretty good. I don't think I'm going to even need this side yet. Not in my Mark II situation. Like you can see the lights glowing through. Is that lumen too? Man, I don't know, the lighting in... Oh, jeez. The lighting in 1.0 sure seems better to me. I mean, it's pretty cool. Those assemblers aren't real. They're just put those in because I was checking to make sure I measured right. Pretty good. I think it blends in with the surrounding buildings and structures pretty well. Got the first couple rows of smelters running. It's kind of fun seeing the ore actually coming in. I'll show you the upstairs, how it's looking. I don't know if I'm going to need this, but I've got pretty giant space for logistics here too. Probably more than I need. We'll see. It looks nice on the cliff. I've been using this time. I've been putting a lot of factors on rock formations, and this kind of carries a trend a little bit. I like to keep the area right around the base free of weeds and whatnot. I'm just gonna run a really simple bus. Is that what you call these things? When you just put a bunch of conveyors together, and why do they call them a bus anyway? Yeah, that's my plan. Okay, hold everything. There's been a development. I found sulfur and it's pretty close. Yeah, I was just looking for hard drives and it's close, but it's not easy. You gotta go up this cliff. Yeah, you see what I mean? I mean, the coal plant over there, that's what this is about. There's 24 generators and it's using every coal node I've got. I need steel soon. I have compacted coal unlocked, so my hope is that I can get that sulfur over here, make a little compacted coal maker thing, over here, right? And see this giant hole. Here's where I'm running my coal. And if my math is right, I can turn one of these into compacted coal and steal the other one for the steel factory. It would mean I wouldn't be crazy about what this might do to the looks of this. I really like the way it looks with 3. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still better than trying to drag coal from way up on the mountain. This is going to work. And I think I only need 2 assemblers if I had some slugs. If I overclock them to 60 per minute each. I'm going to try to splice into these belts that deliver coal to the power plant. Gotta get this thing switched before there's a gap big enough to turn the power off. That is awesome. I've never used compacted coal before. This is pretty amazing. This middle belt's not being used by the power plant anymore, so I gotta get it from here down to over where the steel factory's gonna go. And see, this metal one's not being used at all now. I'm gonna keep it there for now though, just because this looks so much better with 3 belts. I just like the idea that 3 belts of coal go in and 3 wires of electricity come out. With that new coal, I think I have everything I need now down there at the site for the next factory, so I guess I should start planning. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna get some hard drives first though.